I am a big believer in having a system for putting away equipment properly and efficiently. And there's nowhere that for me is more important than how I put away the tarps I'm using, because this is something I'm relying on for shelter. And chances are when I next want to put this up, it's going to be pouring with rain, it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy. And if I haven't put it away properly, then I'm going to struggle to get it back out. So today we're going to have a look at 3 different tips for getting your tarp away quickly and efficiently so that you can get it out just as easily next time. Tip number 1 is to leave the tarp on the ridge line for as long as possible. So this means that you will be keeping the tarp up off the ground and you won't be getting muddy, you won't be getting torn, and you can also use the tarp, the actual ridge line itself, as a second pair of hands. I usually have one of these toggles that sits on my ridge line, and it will just hold one end. So when I'm folding a particularly big tarp, I can get the other end of the ridge line, hook it over that same toggle there. And if I find the center of the ridge line, I can then pull that out, adjust a little bit, and I've already got it half folded here. And then I can pinch it in the middle, flip over the top, fold again, and my tarp hasn't been on the ground getting trodden on, getting punctures in it, getting all muddy, wet, and then I can just undo my little toggle here. I keep it mostly off the ground. I can then roll it up. Which brings me on to tip number 2. For most tarps, in fact all tarps, you'll have a seam at the top. And if you have a good quality tarp, that seam will be sealed. So it'll have some tape on it. So that means that while it is not completely impermeable to air, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. So you always want to roll from the ridge line down. You always want to fold along the ridge line and then roll down from the ridge line. So the idea is, just like with a tent, you want to have the opening to be the last bit that gets rolled into your bundle. Because otherwise you're trapping a whole lot of air in and you're creating a bigger package than you need to. So if I fold my way along the ridge line, as you saw just a moment ago, then when I roll, I keep rolling. I'm only doing it roughly for this video. See, I'll be pushing the air out of the bottom there where there is no sealed edge. And that means that I can get a nice compact bundle. So that is tip number 2, which is always go from the ridge line down. Go from that central seam, that point that is not going to be able to push air through, and we'll go roll downwards. Tip number 3 is don't bother with the bag that your tarp comes in. So the bags that most manufacturers sell their either tarps or tents in, they are designed to squeeze as much air out of it as possible and get into a small package. So you can look at the tent or the tarp on the shelf and go, wow, that packs up small, and go, that's a bonus. Well, this one clearly packs up smaller than that one, so therefore I'm going to buy that. Problem is, a lot of those have been rolled in factory conditions. Scientifically, there's no sticks involved, there's no mud, there's no water, the tarp isn't sticking to itself, and you're doing it in the warm, in a nice warm factory. So this is completely different from how we face things in reality out here in the woods. So I would recommend is getting a bigger bag, because at the end of the day, when the tarp is wet, you are wet and muddy and cold, and you don't want to get every fold perfectly to be able to get into the bag. You just want to be able to, if you really need to, just stuff it in. So for my 4x4, which I've been using now. I have one of these expert dry bags. I'd go for something quite a bit more durable than this, but as this tarp doesn't come out very often, it's not a problem. But as you can see, even with my really rough rolling for the sake of time, so on, I can just stuff it all in, roll the top down. The advantage of here as well is it's waterproof, so I can toss this in the back of the car, in the back of the van, and it's not going to drip everywhere or get other stuff wet. And there we go. That can go as, that is a tarp kit ready to go. For my bigger tarp, my 5x5 tarp, I got one of these waterproof dry bags. These are really handy as they're really durable. They have the rucksack carrying straps, and it's big enough that I can just stuff that whole 5x5 tarp in if I need to. It's like pouring with rain. I'm just done. I know that later in the week I'm going to have to take it out, refold it, whatever, but for this time I just want to get it done. It just goes and gets stuffed in. So there we go. That is the 3 tips. Keep it on the ridgeline as long as possible. Work out a system so that you can use the ridgeline as a second pair of hands. Make sure that you roll and fold along the ridgeline and then down to create a nice compact package without a whole lot of air in it. And thirdly, get a bag that is better sized for the tarp you have. Well, that's all. If you want more tarp tips, if you want to become an expert at putting up and taking down tarps so you can make it as quick and as efficient and as painless as possible, then do check out my course, Essential Tarps and Knots for Forest School Leaders. There is a link to that in the description bar down below. If you're not sure about buying the course yet and you just want to have a go, I also have a mini free course on how to choose the right tarp for you. So go and have a look at that, decide whether my teaching style works for you and experience that. So again, all the links in the description, do check them out. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll see you all next time.